Another really good practice. Had a hard typical Tuesday practice, very physical, good on good, scout teamwork, like where we're at mentally. Young guys, you even see a lot of young guys developing. Older guys taking it very seriously, very sound assignment-wise, technique-wise. Very pleased where we're at. Good practice, very good practice. Questions?
Jimbo, you talk about the younger guys stepping up. Your team's been reshaped a little bit here down the stretch.
It really has, and I always believe this. I think when you have those kind of runs like we're able to have, those young guys' contributions, you can't put it, and sometimes it's only 10 or 12 plays, you don't see it as much, like some of these guys are making significant, getting 40, 50, 60 plays a game. But the young players' development, I attribute to our assistant coaches doing a good job with them, and those kids and our upperclassmen helping them along.
Now, like with Johnson, how much just over the time he's managed to play have you seen him?
At big time. I mean, he's doing a tremendous job, and he's not just his athletic ability, he understands the game. It's just his knowledge and to be able to pick things up and learn are tremendous.
How was Now Lawrence's return?
Good. And I was out here, got some individual work banging, and he'll be able to take the next couple of days. Look like he'll get some some of our good on good stuff. And take some blockers on.
It's pretty fast.
We should have Eddie back out here tomorrow too.
Pretty quick recovery for him for that injury he had for Nile.
It's pretty good. It's about typical, but he done a great job rehabbing. He's a very strong guy. So.
Still possible for him to play in the.
Oh yeah. We'll wait. I mean, let's see. We'll judge how it goes, but we're excited to get him back out here. We won't do anything to ever. I mean, one game's not worth his career in that regard. But if he's ready to go, which I don't see anything why he shouldn't be, we'll see.
What is the challenge of just preparing for a championship, or, a playoff game, but that's not the championship game where you don't?
I guess we talking about. I was thinking about that the other day because you usually put everything into one, but you just got to do it twice. It's twice. It's twice as tough because these are really championship games, even though they're not. They are. I mean, these are great football teams, and that's why you're in the Final Four, and you got to play them like a championship game and give everything. And it's the old term, survive in advance. You got to get by this one. You can't be looking at the second. You got to do everything you can do, pull out all stops to get by this one, so you can hopefully get to the next one.
So is it different than anything you do differently?
No, there's really not, because you got to win the football game. At all, what you got to do.
Do you feel like it's new territory in a way? I mean, the four of you are the first ones that ever had to do it.
From this point, I don't think it is, but I think it will be after this. But it still is, because even though you're having to think about it now, and it's affecting some of the decisions you make now on how you may do things.
Have you seen any of the other coaches here at the school that have done any sort of Final Four?
No, but I've been in 1AA playoffs myself, and you talk to other guys in that regard. So it's very similar to that type of stuff. We've all been in it at some point in our life.
Jimbo, Oregon lost their top cornerback. How does that change what they do on defense?
Well, I don't know. You have to ask them that. I have no idea. But he's one heck of a football player, and I hate that. I mean, that's a shame for a guy a senior. I think I was up for the Thorpe Award, first team All-American. I mean, all the things. He'll have a tremendous pro career, but that's a shame. I hated to see that. I really did.
Deadline for the NFL draft is coming up a little bit. Have you talked to Jameis about what his decision might be?
No, there's a lot of other guys besides Jameis they're involved in this. So you have a lot of other guys we have to talk to. We hopefully will have that situation a lot for a long time. I mean, that's a good problem to have. So we've started discussions with all of our guys and processing, and it's not just discussion, but their thought process and what goes on, and we'll progress with that.
Is part of your recruiting mindset, Jimbo? A lot of these kids are only going to be here 3 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to think in that regard with a lot of guys, and if they don't, they adjust. You don't want them to, but these are tremendous opportunities if they're good enough to do that.
Has anyone already put the paperwork in?
No.
I know you said you thought that.
And I don't think they will.
That Jameis would be a top 2 pick. I mean, if that comes back and then that's the grade he gets, is that even a conversation?
Yeah. Was it for Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck? So everybody assumes you go. Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning stay. I mean, it's not just being a top 2 pick. It's what you want out of life. To me, it's the question. Is it to get to the NFL and be a top pick, or is it to be at the Hall of Fame? Or to be a college graduate? Other people we all assume that money drives everybody. And it's a very important factor. You got to have those things. But at the same time, other people have a lot of values and things that we may not always see that there's no way they can do it. But I mean, I look at Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning. Both have been the first pick as juniors. And they both elected to come back. So, I mean, every situation is different. And I think, education is important to him, his team, his school. He loves college. But at the same time, if that's what it is, that's what it is. But I mean, I think, he's a lot deeper a person than people give him credit for.
You're sounding kind of optimistic.
No, I'm not sounding optimistic. I'm just being realistic. I mean, I've been in these situations before, and I know how guys think, and I know what's important to people. You know what I mean? But there's not, if he goes, heck, that's what he should do. If he doesn't, it's very understandable for the reasons he's doing it.
Are you trying to help him along, kind of encourage him to make
Not right now, I'm not. Not right now, no. I'm not trying to help. That's a decision for him, and I'm a part of that decision, or I'll be, I have to know what's going on. And if they want my advice or opinion, then, we'll get it. But if they don't, that's their choice. That's a family's choice.
Jimbo, with his versatility, how valuable is Jalen Ramsey against a spread team like?
Oh, big time. Because you can play big guys, smaller guys. You can play him in the nickel, put him outside like he did in that game. We put him back at corner, be a safety. Play like a linebacker. He's what football's about today.
With the semester over and the academic casualties, are you guys good there?
Everybody's good. Everybody's good.
That obviously says a lot for what you guys do with them academically.
It does, and like I say, this is not an easy. This is a very, very tough academic school, very challenging school, and our guys are doing a great job, and our academic support system and everybody's doing a tremendous job.
It's got to kind of be a relief, right, for them to have finals over and now can just solely.
Oh yeah, you can play football. You can relax and don't worry about everything and all those exams.
Relief for coach too.
Oh, it is for all of us. Yeah, and too, your meeting schedules and ability to access to them too, and things that go on.
What's the team's Christmas plans? I know you have a couple days off.
We'll break the 22nd. We'll practice that morning. Then they'll be off, that afternoon. And 23rd, 24th, 25th. We'll meet back. We'll have a 9 o'clock meeting or 10 o'clock meeting. 9:30 meeting. I'm sorry. 26th, and we'll do a workout here of some kind for an hour. Maybe throw the ball around, do some things, run a little bit, get a sweat, and then we'll get on the plane and go there.
I know some of these players are not going to get a chance to go home, but what's it mean for those that do have that?
I think most of them will, and I think that's like all these holidays. No matter what you do in life, family's number one. Your health and your family. I don't know any two bigger things in life that are more important. We get caught up in money, we get caught up in co-winning. It's not. Your health and your family is what it's about. So you can give thanks and be with the loved ones.
Y'all staying here, or you gonna go? You and your family?
No, we'll be right here. We'll be right here.
Sunday you said Kane Dahl was on his way back.
He is back, but he was not here at practice.
Jim, I want to ask you about Johnson up at Cam. Is he a better center, better tackle, or what?
That's a good question. And if I had to pick right now, he's played center, but he's played tackle more. But the way he's played center, I think he can be very, very special in there at center. Because not many guys of that size and length can move and get second level and bend and do what he does. I think he's got a chance to be a very special center. We felt that for a long time. It's just, sometimes you got to put you got to mix your pieces together to where you can get your best group.
Any change in Kane's status here?
No.
Jimbo, along with the players who have to consider their futures, assistant coaches will, be mentioned for different jobs also. How do they even talk to you during this process, or wait till after?
Oh yeah, people come out and they do make me aware, and have done. And we haven't had that, and I think we hopefully we'll retain our staff. I want everybody back on our staff. We've had a great group of guys, not just as coaches, but as people, and they understand, and it's a tremendous group. And it's a lot of the attitude our players take come from that group, those group of guys. It's a tremendous group.
Kind of out of left field, but reflecting on Kermit's kick return from last year, do you remember what was going through your mind when you saw him streaking down the sideline like that?
Yeah, don't get caught. It was ironic. He went and once I know he hit the sideline, he's a guy you don't catch, and I said it was pretty amazing. Just go, just make sure we don't have a penalty. I was looking back for flags. I was trying to peek and look see if there was any flags.
Was that the one you pulled your hamstring on?
No, I pulled a hamstring on the horse collar thing.
Oh, okay.
I was mad then. That one I was happy. I might be able to run better now. I lost some weight. I can maybe run with him a little bit.
Jimbo, how pleased have you been with John Franklin and the scout team?
John's doing a heck of a job. You can't simulate Mariota, but at least from an athletic standpoint of a guy who can really run, and our guys get a sense of how fast, and he's bigger and stronger, but at least that's the best we can do. That's about as good as anybody can simulate it.
You guys have heard nothing. I take it on disciplinary board?
No, not quite yet. Not yet. I think we will. I think we'll definitely hear something for the game.
What's your contract situation? You got 29 straight. Is that out there?
No comment. Huh? No comment.
You said money. You talked about money twice already. So you got a little something coming in?
No comment.
Got to call Jimmy, huh?
Yeah.
How was Mario Pena?
Good. Mario's been good. He's healthy. He'll be good. Be ready to roll. Actually had a little flu today and went through practice. That was very, very tough on him to do it. A lot more consistency, playing with more discipline, coming downhill a lot better. Playing good football.
The young players kind of understand the magnitude of this game?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. They do. They all understand. And it's, but for them, the atmosphere, the environments, and the way people coming up, we've had the magnitude of, is it any bigger than playing Notre Dame in here, or Florida, and all the games we've been in? We've been in a lot of big games, and that's part of the attrition you have to go through to become a champion. Of understanding that these championship games are big games, but when you play in a lot of big games, it's just like you play every week. And I think that's why it's important to have that stadium packed, to have that atmosphere that way, that you get used to playing in that environment. And our fans did a tremendous job of that this year.
Does that give you an edge, do you think, on New Year's Day? All of that, what you just
I think it does. I know they played some great ones. For them, but I think it helps us that stadium was full every time we played, and everywhere we went on the road, and people were hostile, they were nasty trying to get at us, and our fans were supportive and created that atmosphere and environment. The more your kids, that becomes the normal. Like you say, sometimes, like I tell kids, when you get banged and bruised as a football player, you got to have a new normal of how you feel. You got to learn, I don't feel good, but that's normal now. It's just like when you play. The new normal of being in that environment and atmosphere, I think, it only helps you in these situations.
You guys have had kind of throughout the year players who would step up for a game or two and needed, like Christian in the season opener and Sean McGuire and Desmond Holland in the last game. What does that kind of say about the
Well, I just think that we have depth. We have quality players. They're getting, you have quality players. Maybe they don't play as much, but what they're going against in practice every day, so they're used to fast-paced guys, big athletes, and those moments don't overwhelm them. And I'm very proud for those guys. They were a big part of why we're where we're at.
But it can be kind of tough for a guy to stay focused, not knowing when or if he's going to get a chance until it comes, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the challenge of all. I mean, that's part of sports. And when your number's called, they say, you always want it, you always want it. When number's called, some guys don't prepare for it, but it's very tough mentally. But that's the challenge you have to go through, and our guys have adapted to that.
Jimbo, that new normal you're talking about, how long do players take to acclimate to that new normal?
That's depending on them. That's all depending on each individual. You know what I mean? That's by their upbringing, what they've been through. A lot of that can be shaped and formed from where they've came from.
And going back to the younger players, now's the time where most of the students are not in town, things like that. Do you see younger players kind of clinging to the older players or clinging to their teammates getting closer now?
I think this team's close all the time. Yeah. I don't think it's any more than normal. I think this team is a very close team. They really are.
All right, real guys.
Thank you.